Right, back at it today and gonna fit the rear view camera to somewhere around the number plate housing. There's three parts to this job. I've already taken the liberty of running the wire up my roof liner, which is actually pretty straightforward. I tapped into the existing, well, in the B pillar where I run the cable for the dash cam. I pulled that back off and I've run the cable close to that to get it round the back of the headliner, in the front of the cab, and underneath this, which in fairness needs to be replaced anyway. It's pretty loose. I just don't want to do it because I love my starlights. And I don't want to have to take all of this off to get to that. But by the by, so there's a few parts to this job. So firstly, the cabling for the reverse light, which I need to tap into, runs behind this panel here, up here somewhere. So I'm gonna have to pull off some of the carpet for me to get to it, depending on where your van or your car's at. Maybe you've just got access. And then there's like a rubber spline that runs through into the door. I've got the barn doors on the back. The next part of the job is the rear light cluster has to come off, because this wire here needs to tap into the reverse light wire. The reason that is because once it detects power, when you put it into reverse, obviously the reverse light comes on, sends power to that cable back through this. The reverse cam knows that reverse has been engaged, and then it turns it automatically to the reverse camera. If that's how you want to have it set up, you can have it on the whole time. At the minute it's plugged in and it's plugged into the dash cam, so even without this I can swipe and I've got the camera works as it should. But I want it to go to the reverse camera section on the dash cam when I engage reverse, for obvious reasons. So yeah, light cluster needs to come off. That's where I tap into that, which I will show you. And then above the rear number plate, where you have two number plate light fittings and the handle to open the door, that's where this is going to be screwed into. There's a little bracket goes with this. You can actually just bond that on if you want, but clearly you need to hide the cables. So that panel will come off so I can get the cables in behind that. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Right, okay, so this is what needs to come off. Firstly, this side, this whole cluster is going to come off. I'll show you how that comes off in a minute. This panel here is going to come off. That comes off internally, and the reverse camera is going to get mounted under here. Again, I'll show you that in a minute. One thing, I said the wiring loom was up here. Actually, great, just touched the van, I'm wearing white. The wiring loom, as you can see from the cabling, actually sits down here. Thankfully, I should just have enough access because of the bed to get into that. So there's a couple of torque screws there. I think it's just a 2. Unscrew them and the whole thing, I believe, pops off that way if I remember right. This panel here is going to come off also, and that's going to give me access to this section to unscrew it from the back, and this will literally just fall off. So let's go on with that. There you go, yeah. So it's just 2 screws here and here. They're not Torx, they're just standard Phillips screws. Once that's loose, it pops off this way towards me. And then yeah, wow, it's minging behind here. If you just push in a little bit while you're pulling this out, it'll give you access to in here. And this is, let's say we're going to run the cable through, and I can just see the back of the carpet on the interior side there, so hopefully that's quite straightforward. Just means I have to run the reverse camera cable down from the inside. Actually, it might be easier to start from this side and feed it through that way. Now, noting it's the red cable that's coming through here, because that's the power for the reverse light, and the actual dash cam, that's what's going to get fed through this loom here inside this panel into the back of the door. So I'm going to disconnect this for now. And what I'll probably do, you can actually tap in the colours of the cables they run throughout. Now, the sensible way to find which cables you reverse light, if you've got a different vehicle, you switch the ignition on, not the engine, put it into reverse, and then with your multimeter again, put the black on an earthing point, and then just touch each of the cables until you find which one's reversed. You should get a reading of around, again, 12 volts. I'm not going to show you how to do that. We've done that in the front, it should be straightforward, but I'm told it's the green one. Once I pull this back, you can see this sort of grey coloured panel here. Okay, what I'm going to do, feed through the cable, or I might put it through one of these holes because it looks like it'll fit. There's a bigger hole at the bottom as well. I don't know if you can see it. Again, it will definitely go through there. I just need to make sure I've got access to be able to get to it through this bad boy and reach it. I'm going to shine a bit of light into this hole at the bottom. Check through here. I can see the light, which I can. And yeah, this is where the cable is coming in. So it turns out the cable does actually fit down into these holes. I don't want to go to that bottom one. I don't want to go to the bottom one because it would be quite difficult to find the cable. I want to start as high as I can. In fact, let's go a bit higher, just to give me the chance of being able to get hold of it. Let's have a look, see what it is. Okay, so here's the plan. This might be a little bit different. Maybe I'm doing this more awkward than anyone else, okay, but you take the light cluster out, right, okay, you can see these are all the cables, all the wiring for all the lights. What I've done, I've unscrewed this whole unit. There's 4 screws around the corners. It gives you access to the whole lights. So from here, I'm going to put it in, I'm going to put the ignition on, I'm going to put the vehicle in reverse, obviously without switching the vehicle on. The reverse light will come on. I'll have all the other lights off. I'm sure the rear tail light might be on. No, it won't be. But what I'm going to do, I put it in reverse. What I'm then going to do, so you see each of these wires here, there's 6 of them, and they're actually numbered on here. I believe the green is the reverse light anyway, but if you note the position of them, okay, this one here on the left, as you look at it, when you look round here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sort of exposed metal runners there, what then take that power to the light. There's the orange, it's obviously the indicator, so I can work out that is second from the top, and therefore that will be number 5 on here. So with the multimeter, that's what I'm going to do. Should be straightforward anyway, but I'm just going to make sure. We'll do that now. So I think it's safe to say that's the reverse light. All the other lights are switched off on the van. So when I touch that second from the bottom one, yeah, it's not 12 volts, but you know, the engine's off, whatever else. This is the cable I'm going to tap into. It's second from the bottom. Lost the ability to speak once again. How I run a podcast on surfing, I don't know. Second from the bottom on this side. So it's not the green, it's actually the, oh, it looks like purple. Might even be blue. Oh, actually, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, wait, the bottom one's blanked. There's nothing goes into it. So it is the green one, okay. So we know what we're tapping into. It's always the easy jobs that end up being really complex. Like, why does this not just pull off? Like a thing that should pull off. Right, okay, I guess I can do that without pulling that off. Okay, so green wire, I'm going to strip this electrical tape back a little bit so I've got enough room to put the wire tap on. I mean, I could even do it inside here, to be fair, if I really wanted to. I might do that actually, because it might give me more space for the wiring. Depends how much I've got to play with. Well, there's not a lot to play with there. Okay, I just want to slice up the electrical tape here, the black stuff, without damaging any of the cables. So just be nice and gentle when you do this. It's old and worn, this stuff. It's quite hard. Obviously it's cold outside as well. Believe me, is it cold outside? And if you get enough, you're just able to start peeling it back. And what you want enough. You can recover this at the end. You want enough that you're able to fit in the splice cutter, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, make sure that rubbish goes in the bin. Now that I've exposed the wire, cleaned it up a little bit, these are the cable connectors I'm talking about. So I'm sure you've seen these before, but you essentially place the cable I'm going to use, the green one, on the inside, doesn't matter if it's inside or outside, and then the reverse camera cable on the other one. When you squeeze down, there's a little metal plate on top that cuts into both wires and creates a connection between the two. Then there's a plate that goes over the top of these and it keeps it covered. Once I've done that, I'll use some electrical tape it all back up, and then tape the whole thing back up so it's not getting exposed to anything. Once I splice in though, I'm going to make sure again, this is definitely the right cable. So nice and open. It's got like a channel for it to sit in. Once they're both in, you just need to clamp them together without damaging any of the cabling. Obviously don't do it too tight because you'll just end up cutting straight through both cables and chopping them in half. But you need to make sure it's nice and secure. And what I'll do, I'll tape off the end, the loose end here. Looks like it's made a good connection. I'm actually going to test it with a reverse camera now, so I'm just going to put it back in reverse, and actually what it should do is go straight onto the reverse camera on the old Wolfbox. Let's go in reverse. Hey! Great success! You see the camera? Way back there. So, that's that bit done. Now we need to get the reverse camera mounted and pushed through, so let's get on with that. And while we're here, actually, what's interesting is, firstly, you can move the camera, which is cool, but these reverse bars, I can actually change and amend them. Didn't know I could do that. So I can set them to what the distance actually is, depending on the angle, but we'll come back to that. Stoked. Let's tape off the loose end for one, so that's not zapping stuff. And then we put the cover back over. Yeah, I'm not an electrician, as long as it's safe. Closes back over there, and it locks it all into place, keeping it nice and tight, but I'm actually going to tape it back up. I'm going to tape all of this back up. I'm not going to do it too tight over this connector block, but I am going to make sure it's weather sealed at least. Wondering what that noise is if I did diesel heater on the entire time, because it is freeze bats. I think it's like 2 degrees today. That's that done. Oh, I'm actually going to put the... No, I'm not. No, I am. I'm going to put the cluster back on just to protect the bulbs. Don't want them getting damaged, of course. That's how it looks on the inside, if you're curious. Just be careful of the bulbs when you put them back in. Don't want to scratch them. Obviously, you don't want to get them wet either. Right, next thing. This is coming off. We're pulling out. There we go. And this is not a fun job. We're going to have to feed the cable through this loom. Oh, we're back and into the door card. I'll take this side off as well. Okay, there's no particularly easy way to do it because it's not straight and it's not smooth on the inside. Disconnect the camera again for now. Actually, I'm just going to put a wee bit of tape over the end just to keep this clean. I really fancy a bacon roll. Actually, no, I'm lying. I fancy a roll and square sausage. Okay, the other solution, if I can't do this, is to maybe get a bit of coat hanger, straighten it out, strap this to the coat hanger, feed the coat hanger through, and then obviously unstrap it and take the coat hanger off. But I'm hoping this might just work this way. This must be what it's like conducting a colonoscopy, and I've had a few done. Okay, we have to go for the coat hanger method. Right, so here's what I've now done, because I was getting annoyed. Bit of metal wire coat hanger. I've just taped up the end just to stop it poking through this rubber hose. I'm going to tape the cable that I'm pushing through to this, hopefully get it to the other side, and that will work without question. Let's get annoyed. Just being gentle as I'm feeding it through. I'm trying to feel where it is. And really what I'm trying to do now is push this end back towards sunshot. I'm making it shorter. Never said it was easy. Go. Thank you for your service. Now I'll just pull the rest of the cable through. Right, next up, light cluster's back on. Cabling's fed through anyway, these are all back together. Just need to push this side through into there, but before I do that, I need to get this panel off. So I've got access to get to the cable, plug the reverse camera in, and take off the other side where the reverse camera is going to get mounted. So let's crack on. That was easy. Right, so now what we've got behind here, there's a lot of bolts you have to take off. 1, 2 or nuts. Where's the other ones? Definitely these 2 for now. And it's just to get this loose enough that I'm able to undo this panel. And this Torx as well. It's just, don't have to have it all off, it's just to give me enough to get in behind here. They're T40s. And these lift off from this side and they push in from this side. So to release this panel, which is obviously where the reverse camera is going to get fitted underneath, there's a couple of more Torx screws. So one is this one here. There's another one in behind there, which is that one on the right, or in the middle. There might be one on this side. I think there's only 2, so I'll come back to it and let you know. It's really tight in this one on the right here. It's really tight in here. So I'm using this flexi extension again, which is, I don't think I've ever used this until I've been fitting this. Like, seriously, oh, wait. There's a hole right there for access. What a penai. There's me about a slate VW. So then what you have, right, is these like nipples. There's one there, and then you just see it there. Right, you just need to sort of push down through, and that's going to come loose. Go. One. It's just to show you where we're at. So once you pull them nipples, wait, is there one more? I think there's one more I've missed. So there's one more on the lock or the handle of the door. And if I pull this out of the way, there we go. You see that one there? That's the other one, it needs to be released. Yeah, there we go. That's us. And there you can see, panel comes off. Next thing we need to do, get the cable run up through, decide where I'm going to mount the camera. I'm probably going to mount it underneath the lock, so long as there's enough space. It's just 2 tiny screws that go back into it, and I think there will be enough space, nothing to get in the way there. I'm going to clean this up as well, so everything actually goes on well. But let's get the cable in first. So probably better working from the outside. Getting that cable pushed back under through the grommet. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to work from the outside in now. So the camera, I'm going to feed the cable, the loose end, back up through this grommet, through the inside of the van. Actually, no, I need to mount it first. I'm going to mount it, feed the cable, mount it, feed the cable through inside, and then push it through the grommet. Otherwise that will be problematic and we'd have to rip it all apart. So let's figure out where I'm going to install it first and we'll go from there. Right, so here's where we're at. The rear view camera comes with, I hate pointing my fingers, can't find anything to point with, a couple of different mounting plates and mounting options. This one I've just attached, it literally just screws on, as you can see. Now it's got holes for screws to screw it in, and it also comes with some sticky back mounting tape and 2 tiny screws. So what I'm going to do, I've decided where I'm going to mount it. This has actually been flip reverse, so it sits this way, but just so you can see my rough idea, so you can see the keyhole goes for there. I want this to sit parallel in line with that, so it's not out of place, but to be as central to the van as possible as well, which is where I'm going to get it with barn doors there. Because the 2 screws that go in are tiny, they're literally tiny, they'll only just break the plastic on this inside. They're not going to be affected, or this locking system isn't going to affect that. So I'm going to mount it there, but I also want the camera to sit as far forward or as flush as possible, because the camera can move up and down, so I want it to be able to record as much as possible without having this plastic trim in the way. So I'm going to flip it back to this side, just so you can see where it's at, protect the paintwork. I've got a trusty Sharpie here, so I'm going to fit it, I'm going to put it in my hand where I want it to go, and this doesn't have to be science. What I'm going to do is line it up so it looks central. Going to move it back so it is where I want it to be. Right, I'm going to open this up. I'm just going to mark 2 holes for the screws. As simple as that. I've got 2 screw holes. The whole thing's adjustable anyway once you stick it on, so you can slide it back and forth. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get the double-sided sticky panel onto this badger. So I'll press that on there nice and tight. Make sure there's no air trapped in it. But it's going to be screwed on anyway through these. It's just to really keep the inside of this clean, and it's not got metal rubbing on painted plastic. Yeah, there's enough room in there. Look at that, it moves out of the way, so now I've got access just to screw these in. Back into place roughly. Just so I've got something to push against. Oh, that was lucky. So next, need to run the cable in. Okay, so I might put that back in without actually cutting a hole. I was going to cut a hole for the cable. It doesn't look like I need to, which is great news. So now, need to feed this cable back through the grommet here, like I said, so we can connect it to the power. So here's where we're at. All the cables have been run through. Make sure when you run the cable back through from the inside of the van out of here through this grommet, that you do it from the inside. This one's difficult actually to get the cable through. It's super tight, so I've just cut a new tiny hole, super small, and just forced its way through. So I'm content that will remain waterproof. It's all wired in. I've taped it back up, as you can see. Same again, I just need to connect this rubber grommet back up to this side. Same on that side. I've ran it back through. It's quite fiddly when you run the cable through the door, but it comes out here, and then you can tidy it up. I mean, I would rather it was running straight behind there, but same as that cable, the standard OEM cable, that's how it runs anyway, so that's right. The reverse camera is actually fitted, I just need to screw it in. Okay, connected here. So now I'm going to connect this back up, I'm going to connect that outer panel on the back of the van. Then I'm going to connect this. I'm going to put the trim back on, put the lights back on, tidy this cable up on the inside, glue the carpet back on exactly where it was before, I've just had a quick check, everything seems to be working. It's not seem to be working, everything's working, and yeah, we're almost there, so let's crack on. Right. Right, okay, so that's it installed, and I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to go switch it on, make sure it actually works. Well, this thing's the only clean bit on the van now. Let's see what it's all about. So, no action currently. Keys in. Right, I'm going to stick it in reverse, give it a chance to warm up. Yes! Stoked with this. Like I say, you can move it up and down. You can reverse how it looks as well. You can flip. Oh, there you go. This is what I said you could amend. So I'll play with this, figure out what's really close. I'm going to adjust the angle slightly on it, which is straightforward. Point it down a little bit so I can, you know, see. I want to see the back of the van so I can reverse onto stuff. But yeah, well happy.